This is so exciting. Welcome. I think some of you are at work, and that's cool if you can't have your camera on. I'm loving it. We have two in the waiting room that are trying to join right now, so I'm um, letting them connect, and then we'll get started. Feel free to drop like where you're coming in from. It would be interesting to see that in the chat for you all, especially if there ends up being people close. I have a few people struggling to come in, Jody. So if you get a text, let them know I've admitted them, but
Okay.
it's doing the little tool circly thing.
Okay. Okay.
Arizona. Sweet. I'm a Texas girl.
Awesome. Yeah, I have a couple that she's trying to log back in, but if she doesn't, we'll send her the recording.
Oh, there's Jenna. Okay, I see she made it in. Maybe this thing's just not updating. Welcome all. Um, okay, well, we'll just run with it. I'll kind of keep an eye on that too, but if you see someone hop in, Jody, be sure to let me know.
Okay.
Wisconsin, Houston. All right, we got a few Texas people on here. So it is super nice to meet you all. It's really great to see some faces because when we talk on TikTok, we're seeing names, but now we get to see your beautiful faces. So we're really excited about that. We'll introduce
Yeah.
ourselves, and then if you want to introduce yourself in the chat, that would be great. I'm Amy Myers. I live in Wiley, Texas, which is outside Dallas. Um, I'm a mom of two boys. I'm a wife. And I showed up on TikTok just to tell my story around weight loss and using probiotics and found Jody, who is a menopause educator, and we kind of partnered up with this whole idea to offer our customers and the people we work with an opportunity for a coaching call. So that's how this came to be. Jody, you want to introduce yourself?
Yep. My name's Jody Johnson. I live in Dallas, Texas, downtown in a high rise, moved from the suburbs of where Amy is. And I'm married, been married for 35 years. I have three grown children, three grandchildren, and I have struggled with my hormones my whole life. And I get teared up every time I think about it. It was probably one of the hardest times in my life to get through. And so when I finally found relief, I find just a huge passion to share with other women. So that's why I'm here.
Cool. Yeah, please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat also. Catherine. Kate or Catherine, also Texas. Well, okay, Texas is well represented, but okay, I have to say, how cool is it that we're an international Zoom call because Jenna is from Canada. So welcome. It's very cool.
For sure.
Okay, so this afternoon, we're going to break this up into three sections, actually four, because Jody's got this really cool thing that she wants to share with us to help us lower cortisol throughout the day. But we're going to talk about nutrition, a bit of mindset. Jody's going to share her 5-minute cortisol tip for lowering cortisol when it happens, when we feel it spiking throughout the day. And then we open it up for Q&A. So if you want to drop questions inside the chat at any time, that's totally great. And we'll be sure to get to those towards the end. Okay. So are we ready? Drop a 1 if you're ready. Our first topic is going to be anti-inflammatory diet. So when I do my lives, a lot of times people ask if I'm wanting to lose weight, how do I eat? Like, what is the recommended diet? And Jody and I both strongly believe that an anti-inflammatory diet is key for lowering cortisol. So Jody, do you want to hop in and mention anything at the beginning? Like, you know me, I'm the teacher, so I tend to dominate.
No, that's fine. Go right ahead. You go on.
Okay, so an anti-inflammatory diet is going to be something that we specifically pay attention to for ourselves. So Jody and I have done a lot of visiting back and forth, and what inflames me may not inflame Jody, and vice versa. So how we figure out what is an anti-inflammatory diet is we pay attention to how we feel after we eat. And it literally It's so simple that it seems like it's not complicated enough for us because we're not going to count calories. We're going to literally take note and evaluate. I had Greek yogurt today. How did it make me feel afterwards? I ate eggs this morning. How did I feel afterwards? Because we know for each one of us, foods affect us differently. So if you notice that you bloat or have indigestion or constipation or diarrhea or brain fog or a sugar rush, all those things are signals that are telling your body that that food isn't for you. It's not serving you. Now, it could be a healthy food, but a healthy food that inflames you is exactly what that is. It's a healthy food that creates inflammation in the body. And when we have inflammation in the body, our body doesn't want to work at its optimal level. So, an anti inflammatory diet is a simple diet where you follow the foods that serve you and you make a decision around foods that inflame you. So, for example, Jody's daughter had this beautiful baby shower last year, and I attended, and Jody had the most amazing cake I have ever eaten. And it's a party, so I'm going to participate and I'm going to eat the cake. And I don't know if Jody remembers this, but I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to need another piece. Phenomenal cake. I left with the biggest sugar rush of my life. My head hurt. There was so much sugar. So I knew going into that party, if I ate the cake, I would probably have a bit of a sugar rush. So I made a decision. Am I going to eat it? Am I not going to eat it? I already made the decision to eat it. I was fine after one piece. Indulging in two gave me the worst headache. And then I felt tired because I came off of my sugar rush. So my whole point is that, can I eat it? Yes. Do I need to be aware of how it affects me? Absolutely. So just pay attention to foods that inflame you. Jody doesn't like to eat eggs. They inflame her. Don't they bloat you? Is that what they do?
I have a sensitivity to egg yolks. I can eat egg whites. So if you notice that you have some kind of, issue with the food, Greek yogurt, I can't eat that. It bloats me, like my stomach gets really bloated. So those are just, even though they're healthy foods, you have to listen to what your body is telling you.
Yeah, I think that's really smart is you just pay attention. Lori says in the comments, I always ask myself if it's worth it. That's a really good point because, like, was my sugar rush worth it? Well, I didn't have anything to do that afternoon, so I was still a functioning human being. But salads sometimes will bloat me, and I get super uncomfortable when I eat a salad. Like, salads are good for us. So I just have to know later on in the day, is that a feeling I'm okay with? The salad in itself is fine, but how I react to it, I have to know if that's okay. And then you're literally making a decision. So I always think that that's great. Jenna says ice cream will bloat me and I'll get cramps. But do you love ice cream, Jenna? Like, is that something you still enjoy? Which is totally fine. Yeah, we just have to then know, like, is that how you want to feel? Sometimes in the evening, that's totally great. If you know you're going to be out shopping, you may not want the bloat because you'll be trying clothes on or whatever. So yeah, I know to have a little bit. Perfect. Bread does it for me, says the Zoom user. Welcome. I think you just hopped on not too long ago. So yeah, that's totally what it is. So when we are balancing our hormones, there's not necessarily anything off limits. It's just a matter of anti-inflammatory diet. And since you're already customers, chances are you're receiving an anti-inflammatory like recipe book at some point in that texting sequence. That gives a lot of examples of foods that are typically not known to inflame you. But again, you're the only one that matters. If the food inflames you, then you make a decision around whether or not you're going to continue to eat it or enjoy it or make it sparingly. Okay. Jody, we have, well, we kind of covered this. Listen to your body. Make sure you know how you feel. We have intermittent fasting, and I feel like you kind of nailed the intermittent fasting along with menopause and how that all comes together. You want to share?
Yeah. So intermittent fasting, there's a thing that goes around about fasting, like how good it is for you. And there, it is good to have a break for your body. Your body does a lot of healing when it has a break. The problem that it gets to is that you have to really pay attention with intermittent fasting because it can add a lot of extra stress onto your body. So if I find someone that has real high cortisol, someone that is, having a problem losing weight, their blood sugar is starting to mess up, then it's so important to start your day to end your fast earlier during the day. And so, because when you have a good breakfast with some protein and some fiber in it, it helps level out your blood sugar levels, and then you're not stressing your body out. But it doesn't mean that the way I direct people that are having a lot of hormonal issues and cortisol issues is it's best for you not to snack during your meals. If you happen to be starving, of course, have a snack, but end your fast a little bit earlier and end your eating at night a little bit earlier. So instead of fasting from like 8 to 12, you end your, eating around 7 or whatever it is, and then 7 the next morning. So you get a good 14 hours with the fast, but you're not extending it over to where you're stressing out your body. So that's kind of how intermittent fasting goes for someone that is going through perimenopause or menopause and their cortisol super high. So keep aware of what fasting does. If you're fasting and you've had amazing results and you feel energy is good and all that happens, you do you, boo. Listen to your body. But most of the time that we're struggling through that is because we are not listening to the stress levels that are going on.
Yeah, again, it's going to be key just to listen to your body because we're all very different. And believe it or not, like just a little bit of age difference makes a big change in how your body's going to handle intermittent fasting or not intermittent fasting. Caffeine. So caffeine is inherently not bad for you. However, caffeine at times when we are consuming high amounts of caffeine, it can spike our cortisol. So a lot of times when we're starting a new regimen or whatever, like Happy Juice, a lot of you are consuming Happy Juice. We want to make sure that when we're drinking caffeine, it's in moderation, especially first thing in the morning. Joe, do you want to cover that?
Sure. Caffeine, I'm all good for having a cup of coffee or whatever. And I did post a TikTok the other day that I got a lot of rap on it because I said, try and do these things before you have caffeine, because caffeine on an empty stomach can spike your cortisol. And when your cortisol is raised, it can also spike insulin. And so we're like kind of like running like a rabbit on a or a hamster on a wheel. We're just like fighting against our body. So when you have caffeine, there's a few things that you can do beforehand. Make sure you have breakfast beforehand. Make sure you put some protein, fiber, and stuff into your body beforehand. Or if you don't like to eat breakfast in the morning before you have your coffee, you can put a collagen or a protein powder inside your coffee, or just have a little drink of it beforehand. So there are things that you can do to help not have the spikes from the caffeine. And I would, if you're suffering from high cortisol, I would certainly limit how much caffeine that you have throughout the day. Give yourself, literally just that 1 cup, 2 at the most, unless it's decaf. We're talking about caffeinated coffee. So I gave like 5 other things that you could do as far as like rehydrating before you have caffeine and putting some lemon water in there, making sure you're there, or just drink your coffee with your breakfast. Just little tips like that can save you lots of stress with that high cortisol.
Okay, Lori, when I drink caffeinated coffee, my hot flashes are worse. Oh, see, that's interesting because Lori, you're so in tune with your body and you've evaluated it. So if we can all get to a place where we're always in evaluation of this is what I did and this is how I feel, where's the correlation? I think that's so smart. Is intermittent fasting adding protein to your coffee? Will it break your fast? Typically, no, it does not break a fast because it's going to depend on caloric intake and sugars. So if you can get, sometimes it's not 2 scoops of your protein coffee or protein in your coffee. Sometimes it's just 1, because that would typically be less than 70 calories. And depending on your protein, it may not be any sugars. So you're good to go with the protein. And that's my favorite way to drink my coffee, is to dump protein shake in it, because it replaces the creamers. It tastes really, it actually tastes bougie and expensive. Makes me happy first thing in the morning. The next thing we're going to talk about is seed oils. So seed oils show up in pretty much every kind of food known to man, especially if it is prepackaged. Seed oils are hormone disruptors. Without going into all the science of it, we just have to know that when we're consuming large amounts of seed oils, we are causing a disruption in our hormone. Most seed oils are synthetics, like they're man-made, they're created. Even if you're drinking or consuming, canola and sunflower and olive oil and all the things, they're supposed to be good because they're clear, right? Not a lot of preservatives and additives. But unless you're going to the source of the olive tree, chances are in the United States, they have been manufactured and heated and manipulated so much that the nutritional value is actually depleted. So just know that seed oils were originally lubricants for machines. They were not actually designed to be consumed for human consumption until in like early in the 1900s, when Crisco came out. Crisco was white, it was pure, it was all the things. And then in the 1950s, they started using seed oils for everything. If we look backwards from the 1950s to now, when seed oils became super popular, it's also the time period that we had increase in all sorts of heart disease, diabetes, obesity, of course, is on the rise. And we can link it to a lot of things, but we can't ignore the fact that seed oils are wreaking havoc inside of our foods. So as annoying as it can be, flip your package over and just look for seed oils. And just, again, you're making a decision here. When you have the information, now everything's a decision. So it's whether or not you're going to choose to eat that item, and then evaluate how it makes you feel. So I'm not saying there are definitely seed oils we should be staying away from. If you had to pick one to totally boot, I would pick vegetable oil. Vegetable oil. I don't even know if we can call that a seed oil at this point. It's so manipulated. Coconut oil, again, make sure you're just reading labels and then evaluate how you feel after you consume the food. We know that processed foods are going to have seed oils to help preserve. They also wreak havoc on hormones. So it's just this other piece of information that you can use when you're evaluating decisions. One example would be, like, you can buy popcorn in a bag that's pre-popped and it has the word healthy on it and all the things. When you flip it over, you're immediately going to see seed oils. So now you have a decision. You can eat the popcorn out of the bag, or you can buy the kernels and add butter, which is not going to have oil in it, not margarine, but butter, and have a healthy snack per se. So it's just a matter of knowing what's in your food. But as a general rule, we do try to stay away from as many seed oils as possible. Do you have anything to add on that, Jody?
Yeah.
That one's a hard one, because like it's going to ixnay a whole lot of processed foods for you. But it's also going to open up the door to balance hormones in a different way, and obviously continue to, what I want to say, clean out the system and make it as genuine, as pure as you can. Coconut oil is not a seed oil. It is made from the meat of the coconut. Thank you, Lori. I drink my coffee black and don't have anything in it. If I should drink when I first wake up, how long should I wait for intermittent fasting? So how long should you wait? So she intermittent fasts. She wants to know when she can drink her coffee. It's a great question, Regina.
So you're intermittent fasting, and you don't put anything in your coffee. Can you have breakfast sooner, or are you intermittent fasting for 16 hours, or what is your, give me a little bit of more information, Ruthina. And this is only if you're having if you're having a hormonal imbalance and higher cortisol level, it's really important to make sure you have something in your coffee or before your coffee. I can't tell you how important it is. 16 hours, what I typically do. And is that working out good for you? Do you feel good doing that? Do you feel stressed doing that? If you're having black coffee?
Pretty sure I have high cortisol.
So you might end your fast a couple of hours earlier and have a little bit of protein and fiber beforehand and then have your coffee. It doesn't have to be much. You don't have to even have a full meal. Just something before you put it in on your empty stomach, because it'll spike that cortisol. And just see how you feel. It's a matter of just, I've been doing it for so long time, it's normal for me now. Just see how it makes you feel. Like I had to really experiment with a lot of things because people were telling me I should be doing this and this. And so I would do it. And then I would feel worse doing it. And I would be like, why do I feel so bad doing this? And I had to really listen to my body to figure out what I should do. So try it. You might feel completely different. Your cortisol might lower if you stopped your fast a little bit earlier. Just see how it works, and just if you have a shake that you can do like just one scoop maybe and shake it up with some, water or coconut milk or something like that and drink it and just see how you feel. Or try decaf fasting. Yes, you could do that too, Lori, if she doesn't need the caffeine. So that's just for a caffeinated one, but yeah, you could do that. So I just would play around with it, seeing how your body reacts, and then seeing what step you need to do next. The body's a funny thing.
And although
no, absolutely.
Yeah, and since we're all wired the same way, but how we respond to things is completely different. Because Jody and I were going on this journey together, and I was all like, "Oh, I love this intermittent fasting," or blah blah blah, and she's just like, "Something's not right." And I was like, "No, keep with it, keep with it." And she's like, "No, really, something's not right." And then I'm like, "That's I think when our eyes really open to we can have the basics, and then we have to really get in tune to our bodies." Okay,
and I'm several years older than Amy, so it could be age also. So this is what you have to really look at your age and where you are in your journey. And that's why we just say, if you're doing this and you're not seeing results, kind of we need to like switch it up.
just a tweak. Okay, we're going to do a fun activity where so I'm the teacher. So now we're going to do an activity. If you have a pencil paper available, I want you to grab it because we're going to work on a little bit of mindset around who we are as an individual, because most of us are somewhere in this journey of around 40, 50, 60 years old. And we need to remind ourselves who we are and who we want to be. So on your piece of paper, you're going to write at the top, you're just going to put 3 lines at the very top. So like 3 dashes at the very top. And I want you to think of 3 people that you admire or that inspire you for whatever reason. Like they can be people you know really well, they can be people on TV, they can be people from your past. Anyone that you admire or that has inspired you. Okay. On those 3 lines, write those 3 people's names. And then under each person, I want you to think of 3 to 7 qualities or characteristics about the person that you enjoy or that you admire. Like, what is it about the person that makes them stand out? What do you see in them? And then when you're done, will you just drop a 1 in the comments? One, two. And since some of you have already finished up, will you drop some of the adjectives that you use to describe the person? Mm. Okay, I love these. And I think it's incredible to note that none of you wrote thin, skinny, slender. None of those words are the qualities that you admire the most in people. So our journeys start on the inside out of being a good woman first, of being a whole woman with kindness and self-sufficient and honest and genuine. Those are the words you all are using. We know we want the other results of balancing our hormones and maybe losing weight and all those things, but these are the things you admire most in other people. They are also the things that you have within yourself. So the only way you can recognize a person that is supportive, tenacious, inspiring, kind, honest, strong, happy, calm is if you have those qualities in yourself. You can only recognize it because it's a mirror of your thoughts of another person. So what I want you to now do is take that list of all your adjectives. And I want you to write 2 words in front of every single one of them. And it is I am. So I am strong. I am kind. I am tenacious. I am a good listener. I am achiever. Because those then become your identity statements. You're all the things you see in other people reflected back at yourself. And now that you kind of understand the goal of this is now you can look at other people and write down lots of things you see in other people that you admire. And just know, if you see it in someone else, it's a mirror. Now, this mirror can work 2 ways. It can work for good, which we just did. What are the qualities you admire? But have you ever said, oh, she's such a gossip? We recognize that because at times, would you agree, we too can be a gossip? Or, oh, she's so hard on herself, or she's super negative. We recognize that quality in other people too, because we also can tend to be those things. So as you're becoming that woman of a balanced life in a new chapter or wherever you're at in your journey, focus on your I am statements that bring you to an identity that levels you up, not brings you down. All these journeys are going to be exactly what they are. I always tell people when they join our weight loss, which I'm mostly weight loss and Jody's menopause, but when we go to balancing hormones, it is a journey. That journey is going to be good. It's going to be inspiring. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be hard and frustrating and annoying. It's going to be all those things. Remember who you are through the journey. You are strong. You are able. And I love that. I am old, but I'm aging, and that's a good thing. Sure is, because the alternative is not good. So we just want you to honor your journey wherever that's at and the woman you are and becoming through the whole thing. So thank you so much for doing that. Thanks for participating in the chat. That was awesome of you all. Okay, Jody, I'm so excited for your 5-minute cortisol lowering activity.
Just to piggyback on what Amy just did, I was just reading the other day, there's a study by a man by Andrew Huberman, Andrew something like that, I think. And he took 2 group of women. They had the same diet, they had the same exercise, they had everything the same, these 2 groups of people. And the only thing different was how the belief of each of the women. And they were telling themselves these I am statements and statements like this, and they were positively thinking about their body instead of negatively thinking about their body. And so however you believe that your body is going to react, it's how it's going to happen. And so this is so important to have this mindset going through menopause. If you go through this, like, it's not going to work for me, it's not going to work for me, your body will respond to that. Either you'll stop taking your supplements or you'll stop doing the work, but you'll start self-sabotaging yourself. And so this is why it's so important to have this, because you're probably saying, what does mindset have to do with losing weight or balancing your hormone? It has everything to do with it. And so that's just, I thought that was a really great study that I saw that this is why we want to do activities like this. So if you're on the Happy Hormone Pack or Happy Juice or both, if you're on both of them, it's all about lowering that hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is just wreaks havoc on our lives and our other hormones. It causes estrogen, progesterone to go out of balance. It causes us to gain weight, all these kind of things. So we want to support it with those supplements. Those supplements help us get a head start, keep our body balanced. But there are things that we want to support our body with. So as we go through the day, there's a few little 5-minute things that we can do. If you can start doing this 3 times a day, you'll really start to see your cortisol just go, whew. Claudia, yes, well, I can get you some of that. So the first thing I want to do, if you'll notice when you do these that your eyes will start water, you'll start yawning, you may even belch, you'll just start to see some things just start to relax because of your digestive system will start to relax. All of these kind of things. So if it happens, or if I happen to yawn, I'm sorry. But if you don't yawn or have a reaction, it's okay. That just means your cortisol's high and it's going to take some time to start lowering it. So you can do about a minute each on these activities. I'll cut them short so we won't be here very long in doing it. But if you want to just write a quick note when I do it so that you can do it, or you can have this video later to go back and do it. So the first one is called havening. So if you have some thin clothing on, normally I would just take my jacket off, but I'll leave it on for now, or doing it on bare arms. But if you are sitting at your desk, these are things you can do sitting at your desk or anywhere really, watching TV or whatever. But we're trying to tell our body that we're safe and it's okay to release that extra weight. It's okay to lower that cortisol so that our rest of our hormones can balance. And so it's literally just what it says. It's just havening. So if you just want to take your arms and put it over you and just start havening your arms and feeling that soft, and just, you don't have to say anything. You can close your eyes if you want and just feel the calmness come over your body. So havening is one of a really great technique, especially if it's on your bare arms. Another one is acupuncture parts. So this one you can do if you're in a meeting or if you're around other people or anything like that. It's about rubbing acupuncture parts. So there's a knuckle right here in your hand and just rubbing it for like a minute, just sitting there rubbing it. Not too hard so it hurts, but hard enough so that you feel it. And like I'm having a hard time not yawning, but you'll start to see your body release. And you can do that, like I said, if you're in a meeting, and you can do the other side, do it for about a minute. And those are acupuncture parts that will really lower that cortisol level. The third one is on your forehead. So between your eyebrows, you could do this again in front of people if you need to, but if you're able to be in a quiet room with some quiet music or just at your desk to lower it, it's just simply massage between your eyebrows. Take deep breaths in and close your eyes, but massaging in between your eyebrows is a big stress reliever. Okay, now this one's a funny one, but this is actually one of the biggest ones that will really help relieve stress. So it's called ear stretching. So if you take your ears, and don't laugh, Amy, but they do work. If you pull your ears down to a point where it doesn't hurt, but you do feel a stretch. Hold it for about 30, 45 seconds. Then you pull them out. And then pull them up. And so that's a really good ear stretching, especially when you're just sitting there at your desk, just feeling, and you'll start to feel when you start holding them for long enough, you'll start to feel the yawns. My eyes water a lot. Like I'll get like lots of watery eyes. The next thing you can do around your ears is massage behind your ears, kind of stretching the skin behind your ears and just letting it go. It's massaging behind those ears is a big stress reliever too. This is your central nervous system. This is where all the stress comes from, and this is how we relax that central nervous system. And the last two, I'll be real quick with it. It's called thymus breathing. So you'll literally just hold your chest like this, and you'll just take some deep breaths and release through your mouth. But this really helps with your digestion, helping relax that digestion area, helping you to get into that rest and digest. And then after you do it, you can even do a little, like a Tarzan kind of pounce. But like just taking some deep breaths in, after you do it, it will start to relax yourself and relax your digestive system. And then the last one, we're going to teach more on this as we go through our coaching calls, but it's called tapping through your points. These are acupuncture points. You don't have to say anything. This is very basic, but these points tell our vagus nervous system about releasing that stress. So I don't know if anybody have heard of tapping, but literally you start on the hand side of your hand, just 2 or 3 times, and then it's going to be an acupuncture point on your forehead. Then it's on the side of your face. Then it's under your eye, under your nose, on your chin, on your chest, your brow line, and the top of your head. And these are all points in your vagus nerve that helps you relax, and you're going to just go through it a couple of times. This is very basic. You don't even have to say anything. But just going through it a couple of times will start helping release that stress. So if you do these, it doesn't have to be all 7 of them. You can do 3 or 4 or 5. Take a minute each in doing them. Start with 1 time a day, but work yourself up to like 3 times a day. And I'd love to see what results you have with it. See how it's relaxing your cortisol levels. It's an easy way to lose weight, right?
That was fantastic. And I did yawn.
Yes, yeah.
I approached it like I'm not going to yawn, but I yawned.
So is anybody have any questions about that? Okay, great. Okay, cool.
Okay, so
I know that seems to work.
Okay, so we had now it's Q&A. So you can either drop your questions. First off, thanks so much for joining and hanging out. If like the rest of this is all going to be Q&A, so feel free to make that question as specific for you as you want. So if you have to go, totally fine. You can drop your question in the thing, but then we also got questions texted back to us after we sent out the reminder text. So the first one is, do the pills give you a stomach ache? I'm experiencing discomfort specifically on the area of the gallbladder. So Jody, you want to head that one up or?
Yes. So Claudia, I think that was yours. So no, they shouldn't give you a stomach ache, but especially with the area of the gallbladder, it's not going to do anything for it. But if you already have gallbladder problems, then it might, because it's doing a detox on your gut, you might start feeling that. If you're having a stomach ache, and you can unmute yourself if you want, Claudia. Are you taking them with the meal or on an empty stomach, or tell me kind of how you're taking them?
After breakfast, I was taking the first 2, and then the mood one, I take it at night. But I started lowering I forget the names of them, but the one that's red, it's supposed to be 2 of them. So I started taking 1 in the morning and 1 at lunchtime after lunch, and that helped. And I skipped 1 day just to, hello? Okay, I'm sorry. I lost you for a minute. So I started like the one that's 2 pills. I'm not taking it together. I take it 1 in the morning, 1 in the lunchtime. And it seemed to help some. I skipped 1 day just to give my stomach a break. So it seemed to help. And we'll see how it goes. I mean, I didn't take it today either.
Okay. Did you, are you taking the purple one, the GBX Fit, first thing in the morning or
yes,
night?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you can cut the Ignite down to just 1 time a day and then work up to 2 if you want to.
Okay.
So if you're fine with it,
thank you.
Yeah. Go ahead, Lori.
Can I add something there? Because is it Claudia?
Yes.
I was experiencing that, but at nighttime, and I take most of mine at night. But what I found is I wasn't drinking enough water with my pills at night, because I drink just enough to get them down. And during the evening or sleeping, my insides hurt and I couldn't figure out what was going on. I wasn't drinking enough water. So that's why I asked if you're drinking, make sure you're drinking plenty of water, because That's what I experienced now that I'm drinking more than 8 ounces of water before I go to bed with taking my pills. Yeah, I'm not having it anymore.
Oh, maybe I can do that. Yeah, because I was taking it just with like maybe half a glass of water, and then since I'm at work, I'm just taking sips throughout, the day.
Right,
So
right. So
thank you
that
for that.
was my experience.
Oh, thank you for that.
Thanks, Lori.
Along with that, the GBX Fit, the purple one, is
Mhm.
doing a gentle detox on your body. So if you're
Okay.
getting an upset stomach, those toxins need to move through. So increasing hydration is going to be a game changer for you.
Okay. And then I wanted to say that the mood one,
Mhm.
I wanted to bring that up because I noticed it right away. I noticed the energy with taking all of them, and that I have been taking them only for 5 days, or I would say 6 or 7 days. I don't have the brain fog, and I have more energy, and it's not that I'm sleeping through the night because I'm very light sleeper, but every noise wakes me up. But when I go to sleep, I notice that I am sleeping. It's not like I feel awake anymore.
Oh, very good. Congrats. That's huge because
Yes,
that puts into your energy the next day.
yes.
A few other questions. What food should I eat? I think we covered that. You're going to eat an anti-inflammatory diet for you. You're going to have to evaluate that every meal, literally. Everything you put in your mouth is just like, how does that make me feel? What do I notice? And then you're just kind of cataloging how you're doing with different foods. Medications are not an issue with the supplements unless you're taking relief, but I don't think anyone on here is taking relief, and that's because it has turmeric or turmeric or however you want to say it. That that does not work well with blood thinners. Other than that, everything is good. So that's the only one that we watch. So typically that's not a normal one that we are promoting on social media, but that would be the only one. There was a question about a prep prior to taking the supplements. That prep is called Reboot. I'm going to get back over to the chat in just a minute. Reboot was something that we usually started our supplementation first with. It was to gently cleanse the body and clean up the microbiome. What we noticed is when we would send that out first, it literally freaked people out. Instead of giving them a cleanse to do first thing, we took that out and we added other free products. So a lot of you got maybe an extra or a canister of watermelon to try. If you want to do a cleanse, it's called Reboot. It's 3 days. It follows a typical vegan diet, fruits, vegetables, legumes, things like that. Lots of water, but if you've already started, you can stay the course. Like, don't feel like you have to go back up and do something else. You're good. So what other questions have come up? So no turmeric, I take turmeric tea. Only if you're on blood thinner. So if you're not, and your doctor would have likely told you that there's certain foods that we stay away from if you're on a blood thinner. So if you're not on a blood thinner, you're good to go on everything. Because turmeric has a lot of beneficials, so don't stop consuming it. Yes, perfect. What other questions?
So I have a question about the GBX Fit. If anyone's taking that, it is on an empty stomach. Is that correct?
Yes, those probiotics we want on an empty stomach. And the empty stomach rule is 2 hours before or after a meal. So mine is first thing in the morning, or sometimes I would take it right before I go to bed.
Okay.
And it doesn't give you
I
energy
thought-
and
No, there's not any caffeine or anything in it.
thank you.
You're welcome. Luz, what you got?
I'm sorry. I am not good with my phone and Zoom, so I was.
I don't think
if I would
anyone
miss-
is.
Well, I just started, so I've been doing pretty good, I think. My question was that, especially because I take all 3 pills in the morning. I take the mood, the 2 moods, and the 1 GPX. And then I try to do like my happy juice like mid 3 o'clock or somewhere around there, just because it just helps me with the caffeine, which I have noticed that I'm trying to decrease. Typically I was in the same boat, trying to do the intermittent fasting. It does work, but I noticed that when I stopped it, it would come back like with a vengeance. So I stopped doing intermittent fasting, just because I think it wasn't working for me in the sense of I could go on without eating, but I think cortisol levels, my stress was just still the same. So right now with the pills, I have noticed that has kind of helped a little bit, with kind of keeping me calm in a sense. I have a very stressful job, but I was just kind of wondering, am I okay to take all of them all together all at once, or should I break them up, or is that okay?
So I've always heard the best time to take supplements is the time that you're going to be most consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So if you
Okay.
want to break them up, that's fine. Mood Plus, and you're also on Ignite, right?
No, I'm not actually. I saw it in the products. I got the Happy Juice pack, and like literally it's right here. This.
Yeah. Okay, and then the Fit and the Mood. So
Yeah.
Mood is an adaptogen. You can literally take it any time of day.
Okay.
You can even take it before you go to sleep. So,
Mhm.
and it can be taken multiple times a day.
Yeah.
I start my day off with Mood, and then if something happens this afternoon that throws me into a bit of a tailspin, like I can feel my anxiousness, I'll take it again because I know my cortisol spiking. But yeah,
Okay.
I always say the best time of day to take it is when you'll be consistent. So if you
Yeah.
are at work, if you can't be consistent, like at 2 in the afternoon, then you can take it in the morning. You can literally take them all together.
Okay. Because that's literally like I fill up my water jug and I take my pills.
Good, that's perfect. So Regina, then did that answer your question? Because Luz asked if she was saying kind of the same thing. There's a question in the comments. And then I'm pulling up phase benefits. So Regina or Luz, it's so good to see you. Like it's always been this whole, I'm talking to the box and I'm waving at
Yep.
people, but that's it. So it's very cool to meet you.
Thank you. Same. So I'm excited. I'm like, okay, okay, we're starting this new journey. Now I've heard you mention Ignite, and that is something that I'm not really sure what that is. And I was thinking maybe I could add that on, but I wasn't really sure
Jody's
what.
Ignite.
Okay.
You want to cover that one, Jody?
I'm sorry, you cut out this right. Ignite helps with your sexual hormones, your estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. So if you're having, hot flashes, night sweats, or low libido, or you have a lot of brain fog, lack of energy. So if you're experiencing some of the sexual hormone, imbalance, then it's an ideal thing would be to take happy hormone and happy juice. That would be the ideal thing to do. But we understand a lot of people can't do that. But Ignite can help with those type of hormones. So like wonky cycles, cysts, things like that.
All of that. Check.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that might be something you decide whether you want to add that on later on or not. So
yeah, I was trying to debate on whether or not for the next, because I think it's like a 30-day supply for the happy juice, whether or not to add that on or to maybe switch between the happy juice and the Ignite to see if that'll help. But I don't want to change something up so quickly when I'm barely starting something.
Yeah, let Amy guide you. She'll guide you that's why we're here. We want to make sure that you have the best results.
Okay.
Okay. Christina wants to know about happy juice, so I'll let you just talk about it, Amy.
Okay, so Happy Juice is my favorite product. Now, I've got great results from several things, but I love the Happy Juice. One, it's another way to help lower cortisol and anxiousness. So anxiousness will tend to raise our cortisol. Anxiousness also puts us in a place of procrastination. So a body that feels anxiousness typically doesn't take action. Also, when our cortisol levels are high, sometimes our decision making is a little bit off. And when I mean decision making, if we're running high cortisol and we consider stress eating, we're not going to reach for an apple and then binge out on carrots. Chances are we're going to run to a different source of sugar that is likely processed and empty calories. So Happy Juice will help lower anxiousness, create motivation. On top of that, and this is why it's also super amazing, is it's going to help increase the production of feel-good neurotransmitters or feel-good hormones. I didn't say boost, so it's not temporary. I said it will increase production. So you're going to get more serotonin, more dopamine, more oxytocin, more GABA. Over time, those phased benefits just stack from one day to the next, to the next, to the next. And what I mean by that is Happy Juice is a pretty fast acting supplement. You'll feel it. And when I say you'll feel it, it's not a sugar rush. You will feel calm, energy, peace, clarity. All of a sudden you'll think, Greg, that's my husband, we should clean out the attic. And he'll look at you like you have lost your mind. But there's this weird piece of, I can go do those things. It will help boost confidence. So when we increase the production of feel-good neurotransmitters over time, you have a lot of good days stacked on top of each other. The junk that throws you off, you handle differently. You handle it better with calm and peace compared to flying off the handle or reacting. I know most of us are probably maybe done with the itty bitty kid phase, but if we have older children or even grandchildren and they spill a glass of milk, we'll just go pick up the milk. We'll make sure the child's okay and all the things instead of lose it. Like, I don't know about you, but I wish I had Happy Juice when I had toddlers. I'm very thankful I had Happy Juice when I had teenagers. But you'll notice those phase benefits increase over time. I already had someone reach out and they said, it's probably a fluke, but I slept better last night than I ever have. So GABA, which is in Happy Juice, helps produce melatonin. It increases that production of melatonin. So you should notice that you're sleeping better because melatonin is naturally increasing. We don't have to supplement with a synthetic hormone. That hormone's there. It just needs woke up, so to speak. Yes, my husband knows like he drinks. Yep, absolutely right. So it's all good to drink Happy Juice. No worries on blood thinners. Good questions, ladies. Also, since you're our customers, in our text thread that you get, there is a whole thing about phase benefit that Jody and I send out. And so it will talk about the phase benefits of Mood Plus, GBX Fit, Ignite, and Happy Juice. So you'll get like a little PDF so you kind of know. Someone asked, am I supposed to be losing weight my first month? So the word weight is common. I know I use it all the time. We're very focused on fat loss. Your scale will be a manipulation of whatever you did the day before. It's not the whole picture. So we want to make sure that we're focusing on how do our clothes feel? Are we in a smaller size? Just different things, especially about how do our clothes look. So that's why we always encourage before pictures and taking measurements because the scale could make you angry. So we want other ways to show improvements. Okay, ladies. Any last questions? You've spent an hour with us. We could spend all afternoon, but we definitely want to answer your questions, but we don't want to hold you up if you have other things to do. Is there any final thoughts? Okay. We're beyond pleased that you're here. Super excited to work with you. I'm so glad that there's already this community where you're going to start recognizing faces and all the things. So many of you are over in the Future of Mental Wellness group. That's a great group that you guys can ask questions. You can text us anytime. We're here for you all the way. Anything else, Jody?
I don't think so. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank
And
you all.
reach out if you have.
Yep. Have a blessed day, all. Bye.
Bye.